Hi, I'm John Stevenson, and we're going to be looking at prepositions, Greek prepositions, in our continuing study of biblical languages. A preposition, and we saw some already when we were looking at Hebrew, but now we're in Greek. It's a word that indicates a relationship between two words. You'll remember in Hebrew, we actually had some prepositional prefixes where we had certain letters that would be prefixed to the Hebrew word, and that would serve as the preposition. We're not going to have that in Greek. In Greek, prepositions will stand alone, although we've already seen how the cases can serve almost like prepositions, but again, that's not with a prefix. So we have here those who dwell on the earth. Notice the word on, that's our preposition. Or the ball went over his head, or John came with his disciples. So on, over, with. Here's another one, John came before Jesus. So each one of these, notice there's a locational sort of shift with each one of these. Doesn't have to have that, but very oftentimes our prepositions are going to be location centered. Prepositions, then, the meaning of a preposition depends upon the case of its object. And we'll actually, I'm going to make a list available for my students. I'll put it on Populi, and it will show a list of prepositions, but also how some of those prepositions will change their meaning depending upon what case they are found with. So that a preposition having with the genitive case might have a different meaning than it does with an accusative case. Now, very oftentimes the preposition just has the same meaning all throughout, but there are a few of those, and we'll look at a few of those in just a minute, that actually change their meaning depending on what case they are with, or they are accompanied with. Prepositions are not inflected. Remember how our nouns, we had apostolos and apostolou and apostoloi. Um, Different nouns were inflected based upon if it was a nominative or a genitive or a dative or an accusative. With prepositions, they're always going to be the same. They always look the same way. Well, almost always. There's going to be one or two little tiny shifts in spelling, but it's going to be really easy to remember. Here's a little cartoon. In fact, today is cartoon day. Two folks that are crossing a bridge, and she says, "So now we're talking about prepositions," and he answers, "Yep, another key tool for interpreting the Bible." And she notes, I never realized just how many prepositions there are. We're going to see just how many there are. And he answers like across, and here are his prepositions: across the bridge, over the water, under the moon. And then she says, and off, because off is a preposition too, off the shaky bridge. And he says, hopefully. So thanks to Steve Singleton for that cute little cartoon. I wish I could tell you who gave the next one. I don't recall where I got it. This are the adventures of Con Leon. Leon is the word for lion, or leonta. And notice our first two preposition, pros or para, has the same meaning, and it's with the accusative because ton is the accusative article. Even if I wasn't sure about leonta, ton, the article is going to tell me. And so toward or para would be alongside of the lion. So I'm notice I'm going toward the lion. And then I am now pros or para. Remember para, but this time it's with a dative. With a dative instead of alongside, it's with. Para or pros is I was going toward the lion. Now with the dative, I am with the lion. So I'm face to face with him. And next, I have epi ton leonta. Epi, and that's going to be on, or yeah, actually, I'm going to the lion. Um, I'm getting toward him, getting right up to him. And then finally, peri ton leonta. Peri, with the accusative, is around. Notice I'm running around him. Number 5, I have come soon to Leonti. Soon is with, as meta to Leontis. Meta with the genitive is also with, so I'm with the lion. Um, Number 6, Ana ton Leonta. Ana is up. I'm going up the lion, climbing up the lion. Huper tu Leontas. Huper with the genitive is over. I've been thrown up in the air. I'm over him. Next, I am epi tu Leontes. Epi is on the lion. And then I go from there to kata tu Leontes, down from the lion. So I'm sliding off of him. I am hupo to Leonti. I am under the lion. And 4 more. I am ice to Leonta. Oh my! I am going into. Ice is into. Can have some other meanings too, but usually it's going to be into the lion. Ice to lion. I am now en to Leonta. Notice the preposition en. That's in. So ice is going into. En is now in. Then I am going ek to Leonta. Thank goodness. I am out of the lion. I guess I could have put dia, and I could have gone through them, but I'm not sure I wanted to see the graphic on that. And finally, I am going apo to Leontus. I am going from the lion. That's, of course, with the genitive. Apo with the genitive is from. And that gives me a sort of a humorous view of most of the prepositions. I think we covered most of them there. Finally, and it's going to be a very short session, we want to look at one verse. This is Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 8. Very common, I'm very familiar. What we're going to look at is especially the prepositions, because some things we haven't had yet. Notice T gar. Something I had to mention. Notice that gar. That is the word for, and remember that's a postpositive. So in English we would put that at the beginning of the verse, but here it's one word back. So for, and then ti kariti. Kariti is the word for grace. For, and I'm going to let that article carry the meaning for by grace. Este is y'all are. It's plural. You are. But then you are sesos menoi. Now, we haven't had verbs, and we especially haven't had participles yet, so maybe we'll come back to this and look at it again. But you are having been saved, and now we come to our first preposition, dia pistus. Dia, with the genitive, is you have been saved through faith. If that had been an accusative, that's not, but if it had been an accusative, we'd be saying, for by grace you are having been saved on account of faith. But you're not saved on account of your faith, you're saved through faith. And kai tuta uk ex humon. And that not, and here's our second preposition, ex humon. You say ex, I don't recall that one. I remember ek. Well, this is actually ek, but when it appears before a vowel, then it doesn't like, it could be too easily confused with maybe a compound word, and so it goes from ek to ex. It's exactly the same thing. It still means not out of yourself. Notice and that not out of yourself, and then we finish the verse theo ta doran. God, notice of God, a gift. Well, wait a minute. There is a verb that's missing in that last phrase. It is a gift of God. No, we don't need that. That drops out. That is understood and supplied by the reader. And so we just have a gift of God. And the idea there is that's what it is.